So today I'm having a bit of a rant, and because there are vegans out there who seem to think that they can come on to the social media channels of those of us who eat a different way and tell us what to do. But what they don't realize is that I actually used to be vegan. I was vegan before they even knew what vegan was. I was a strict vegan in my mid-30s, which was 25 years ago. Most people had never even heard of a vegan diet back then. So I was strict vegan, and then I was vegetarian for over a decade. And then even once I started eating meat again, which was about 2006, I started eating meat again because I was having health issues that I could not resolve. And so when I decided to start eating meat again, it was honestly like changing religion for me, because I was so indoctrinated into that whole meat is bad thing, and plants are healthy, and the whole cruelty to animals thing. That was a big thing for me, as well as the spiritual side of things. So, you know, there's this belief out there with some people who are vegan that when you're eating animals, because of the vibration when they die, you're ingesting that vibration basically. And so that was something that really kind of played on my mind a little bit as well. But I have very different thoughts about that these days, which I might explain at the end of this video. So I grew up with a dad who was heading into a vegetarian diet when I was a kid. And I remember standing at the kitchen sink with him, and him showing me the pots as he was washing them, telling me that the pots were cleaned so much easier when they'd only had vegetables in them compared to meat, because the meat stuck to all the pots and all the fat and everything, and that's what it was doing in our bodies. And so that was a big influence on me when I was growing up. And so my whole paradigm for most of my adult life has been around plants are healthy, meat not so much. The reason I started eating it again was I read the Eat for Your Blood Type diet book, and figured, well, maybe because I'm a low blood type, I need to eat meat. So I started eating it again. So it had been well over a decade that I hadn't eaten meat. And when I first started eating it again, there was such a difference in my body, in my muscles, in my ability to exercise. And I could not get enough meat into my body for quite a while. It was just like I would eat these massive steaks, and I just wanted to eat meat. And so that kind of was almost like it's like you have the belief system in your head, but then my body was telling me something else. And so that kind of, it messed with me a little bit. Before I made the decision, I'd actually been craving meat for probably a couple of years, and I was just trying to put that out of my mind. And this is the thing, is like, I know that a lot of these vegans, especially if they've been vegan for quite some time, I know what some of them will be going through, and that will be that they will have health issues that they're trying to resolve, and they think that by being more vegan that they can do it, by you know, eating more plants and eating more superfoods, that they can create that change, or by juicing more, you know, do a juice fast or a juice feast or something like that, and you can, you know, you're going to get healthier. And while a plant-based diet is in some ways better than a standard diet, so what I see in the world is that there are people who will just eat a standard diet, and they'll eat all that crap that's all processed, and they don't ever think about it unless they have a health challenge. Even sometimes then, a lot of people don't think about it. They'll just go to the doctor and expect the doctor to fix them. But if they do, some of them will think about it, and then they'll switch to a more plant-based diet. Now, that plant-based diet is going to have benefits. It's going to make them feel better. It's going to detox a lot of that crap out of their bodies that they've been putting in, because your processed foods are not foods. They're stuff that's sold as food, but they're not. They're full of chemicals and colors and flavors and God knows what, that our bodies and our cells don't know what these things are that we're consuming. And so when you switch to a plant-based diet, you're going to feel better, your body's going to detox, you're going to look better, but over time most people on a plant-based diet will end up with problems if they're not eating any animal products in particular, because there are nutrients that you cannot get in plants that are only available in animal products, and you can supplement till the cows come home, but it's not the same thing. And there is also anti-nutrients and plant toxins in plants that are gradually going to get you. I think there might be the occasional person out there that does well long-term on a vegan diet, but there is not many. And so I try to be understanding with these people that come onto my social media and start telling me what to do. And I answer them and I try and give them information, but it gets really frustrating because a lot of the time they don't listen, they don't watch, they just keep repeating the same guff that they have been given by other vegans. Basically all the stuff around the agriculture and all the grains being fed to animals and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I understand that goes on and that's the thing, but if you were trying to prevent animal cruelty, you need to think about the animals that are being killed harvesting your food, because that happens. And there is studies that show that there are way more animals killed harvesting vegetables and grains than are ever killed in slaughterhouses. Like if you are eating beef, one cow can last a person 6 months to a year, and so that's one life, versus all the mice and rats and stoats and rabbits and deer and frogs and whatever else that are killed growing vegetables and grains. And so the grains that are fed to cattle in that at this point in our civilization, that's a problem, and it is, but that's a problem with farming, not a problem with diet. So for me, as I said, switching from a plant-based diet back to eating meat again was literally like changing religion. And for me, going onto a carnivore diet last year, that was a big shift in my whole belief system and everything, because my fridge, like when my son came round the first time after we'd started the carnivore diet, he said to me, he went to put his beer or whatever he was drinking in the fridge, and he said, "Oh my God, there's room in your fridge," because my fridge was always chocker with fruits and vegetables, and that's been like that for decades. So for me to switch to animal products was a massive shift, and it was really hard to get my head around initially. But when I started feeling the difference in my body, that is what switched the belief system over for me. And that happens with most people that go onto carnivore, because especially when your health isn't good, if you start on eating just meat, you will feel differences in your body and see differences in your body within a very short time. So the last time I was actually vegan was the beginning of 2022, and we had a patch in 2021 as well when we were vegan. I think it might have been the end of 2021 to 2022, I can't remember, but even my husband went vegan, and that was something I never ever thought that I would see. What happened was we watched Game Changers, that pile of bullshit that they put together to try and coerce people into a vegan diet. We watched it, and it was convincing. And so it was my husband who said, maybe we should go on a vegan diet. So we did. And we ate vegan for about 6 months. My husband dropped 15 kilos, and he was so skinny. His arms, the wrinkles on his arms were just hanging. He's not a big guy anyway. He went from 80 kilos, or just under 80 kilos, down to about 63 or 64 kilos, something like that, and had no muscle on him. He was so skinny that when we went swimming at the beach, he thought he was going to die because the cold water, he couldn't get his breath. And he was cold all the time, had to wear his beanie all the time. And, you know, even in the summer, he was freezing. And so once we started eating meat again, that all changed. Put a little bit of weight back on, not a lot. He's only put on probably 3 or 4 kilos, but he's put on quite a lot of muscle. And he's back to his kind of normal, healthier body. And so, yeah, the vegan diets are not suited for most people. I mean, I try and be understanding with them, as I said, but they just keep pushing it. And so I end up blocking them most of the time, especially on Twitter, because they just drive you nuts. And a lot of them, they don't even show you who they are. They have no profile photos. They have no anything about them, no videos on YouTube to let anybody actually see who they are. So who are they? Are they just trolls? You know, because there's this big push for vegan diets. And so there are quite a few, I believe, paid trolls out there who are making comments and hassling people who are choosing a meat-based diet. Yeah, that's my rant, I think. I don't know if there was anything else I wanted to say. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And you know, if you are on a vegan diet and you're looking at the carnivore diet, then feel free to comment below if you've got questions or you know, legitimate comments. But if you're coming here to tell me what to do, don't bother. I've been there. I've been where you are. I've had your beliefs, shared your beliefs, and then realised that I was completely brainwashed and just ignorant of the truth around human nutrition. We, as human beings, we're hunters, and we have evolved eating meat for millions of years, and that's the fact. And so if you are going to eat just plants, you're going to suffer. Your health is going to suffer. And for me, I'm not willing to do that. You know, like, I'm almost 60 years old. I've been through all of that, and my health was getting so bad that I was fearing that I was going to end up dead. You know, I could just feel that there was things going on in my body that weren't good. And I have a husband, and I have children, and I have grandchildren, and I'm not willing to go and leave them for the sake of some myths around animal cruelty and stuff like that. So why did I start eating meat again, and why did I quit eating a vegan diet? After decades of eating a highly plant-based diet, vegan, vegetarian, all the rest of it, as I've already discussed, I found myself very overweight and couldn't lose weight. It didn't matter what I kind of tried, weight wouldn't come off. I had no energy for exercising. I had chronic diarrhea, and that tied up with anxiety, depression, skin issues, and I was starting to feel like I had some kind of cardiac issues going on as well, vertigo and dizziness. There was a whole bunch of things. If you look through my videos, you'll see I'm talking about all that sort of stuff, and a lot of that's resolved since I've been on this carnivore diet. And there were things that resolved within days, you know, little keratoses, things on my skin that had been there for years, and my blood pressure, like, these things resolved within a few days to a couple of weeks. But on a vegan diet, they didn't. I had been vegan, as I said, around the beginning of 2022 was the last time, and these things didn't resolve on a vegan diet. So yeah, that's why. That's me, and why I switched from a vegan diet to a carnivore diet. Okay, so I think that's it for today. That's my rant. And if you're a vegan and you're coming here and you're interested in knowing more about carnivore, fire away below. Happy to help. I mean, I have resolved my chronic diarrhea that I've had for years and years and years on a plant-based diet, on this carnivore diet. It's gone. I don't have any more diarrhea. My age is reversing. I can tell by the way I look, I can tell by the way I feel. My skin's getting better. My hair is thicker. I feel better. I've got more muscle on my body. And so, yeah, it's just, a plant-based diet just doesn't work for most people, not long term. Yeah, if you've got any questions or comments, fire away below. If you're a vegan coming here to tell me what to do, go away. I may block you, or I may just ignore you. But anybody else, go for it. I nearly forgot the whole vibration thing with the animals. So I remember coming across this information when I was, as I said, I was in my mid-30s and I was a vegan, and I was following a lot of vegans online at that stage, or a few anyway. And I remember coming across this theory that when animals are killed, the fear in them remains in the meat, and so when you're eating that, that's absorbed into your body and becomes a part of you, basically, because we are what we eat. And so I kind of had a little bit of a belief system around that. And then when I started eating meat again, that was one of the things that I struggled with. And then becoming carnivore, that was something that kind of popped into my head again. But you know what I believe now? I believe that I still believe that we absorb the vibration of those animals, but not at their death point. I believe that we absorb the vibration of those animals as they are. And so if this is something that you struggle with, the way that I look at it is those cows and those sheep and those, you know, whatever you're eating, they are connected to nature, they're connected to source. They're living in the moment and in the now, and they are peaceful, happy, very different beings to most humans. And so when we ingest the meat from those animals, we are absorbing their being, their calmness, like depending on what you're eating, their calmness, their joy. You know, you think about chickens running around a yard or whatever, and the way that they are, cows in the paddock, you know, they're calm and they're very grounded. And sheep can be quite frisky and bouncy. Cows can too, you know, when they get bouncy around the paddock and they start doing their doop thing around the paddock, having fun. And so for me, especially living in New Zealand, because all our cows and sheep are raised on grass, they're all grass fed, they're not fed in feedlots. That's what I think of as what I'm absorbing from those animals. If I'm absorbing any vibration, it's a vibration that I'm happy to have. And I actually think that I feel that in my body, because I am way more calm, way more stable, way happier than I was when I was eating a plant-based diet. So go figure. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share with anyone you think might be interested. And I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.